welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin. In today's video, I wanted to share a few books that I recently purchased from Target. So let's get right into it. 3 of the books I actually bought this week. Target had a sale, it was buy 2, get 1 free. And also, if you go to Target enough and you buy books at Target enough, you know that they always have some kind of percentage off sticker. So most of these, actually all 3 of these books have like 20 to 30% off. So that was a pretty good deal to me. And then the other book I did buy last week when I was in Target. So I figured why not, do a little Target book haul. Okay, so the first one is Before I Let Go. This is by Kennedy Ryan. I have heard nothing but good things about this book on BookTube, Bookstagram, and even Book Talk when I was on TikTok. I'm no longer on TikTok, by the way. So with these books, I will go ahead and just read like part of the back or the inside to kind of give you a brief description of what they're about. So yeah, the reason why I picked this one is just because everybody's been raving about it. There's a booktuber, I believe her name is Shanice Schroeder, and she films nothing but book videos, and she definitely raved about this one. She even suggested this book to one of her good friends, and her friend even cried reading the book, and I was just like, okay, let me see what it's about. So on the back it says, their love was supposed to last forever, but when life delivered blow after devastating blow, Yasmin and Josiah Wade found that love alone couldn't solve or save anything. It couldn't save their marriage. Yasmin wasn't prepared for how her life fell apart, but she's finally starting to find joy again. She and Josiah have found a new rhythm, co-parenting their 2 kids and running a thriving business together. Yet like magnets, they're always drawn back to each other, and now they're beginning to wonder if they're truly ready to let go of everything they once had. So I only read the first 2 paragraphs on that, but it seems pretty interesting. It's not my typical pick, and honestly, I'm still trying to figure out what authors I love and what genres I love to read. So I definitely like to take suggestions from social, because if everybody else is reading it, then it must be good. Sometimes I do pick up books that are on social media and I'm just like, why were they raving about this book? Like, I didn't like it at all. So, to each his own. So we will see how this one goes. I only read it wasn't even the first chapter, it was like a prologue. So I only read that. It says the beginning, and so far so good. It's a pretty easy read. I'm pretty interested, so I will be reading this for the month of November for sure. The next book, so let me just, before I share the next book, the last few months I have been reading thrillers like heavily because they're so easy to finish. Like with a thriller or a psychological thriller, mystery type of book, or maybe even horror. I don't think I've been reading horror though. It's kind of like a whodunit situation, or like you're playing a game in your head. Like, okay, who is the person who did it? What's the twist gonna be? And you're trying to figure it out. So while you're doing that, you're like page after page, like I gotta get to the next chapter. And if it's a really good author, the way they end the chapter before is so enticing. Like you have to go to the next chapter. You have to figure out what happened, what's gonna happen, what the person found or whatever. So I've heavily been reading books by Frida McFadden, and I suggest if you're just starting out with reading books, or if you're in a reading slump and you just don't know what to read, or you want to, maybe it's the end of the month for you and you just want to add one more book to your list of books that you completed for the month, I would suggest a book from Frida McFadden. I've read about 5 of her books. The last one was One by One, and before that I read The Coworker. I also read The Housemaid and The Housemaid's Secret, and I feel like there was one more in there, but when I tell you I ate those books up, like now because I have a pretty busy life, I've never actually finished a book the same day that I started it, but I can say I've finished one of her books within 2 days before on a weekend. So that's saying a lot with having like a million things to do, but on the weekends I do try to like relax and just chill and just read. So if you are interested in Frida McFadden's books, honestly, any book that you choose is going to be good. Saying all that to say, I was like, okay, let me venture off. Let me get out of Frida's world for a minute and try another thriller. I still want to like finish books fast and kind of, solve mysteries. So I did read a book from Riley Sager, a few months ago from the library. I don't remember the name of it now. If I can remember it, I'll put it up on the screen. But Riley just came out with a new book, and I've been seeing it everywhere. So this one's called The Only One Left. And let me tell you something. I am a sucker for covers, book covers. They say don't judge a book by its cover, but oh my gosh. This is so pretty, and look, it matches my nails. It matches my nails. But I saw it on the shelf and I was like, oh my gosh, I thought it'd be sold out somewhere. So I grabbed it and it was 30% off. And like I said, this was part of the buy two get one free. So I'll go ahead and read a little bit of this one. I believe the description is going to be on the inside of this one. Let's see. So I'll just read like the short version because it's pretty long. It says, best-selling author Riley Sager returns with a deliciously twisty and addictive gothic chiller about a young caregiver assigned to work for a woman accused of a Lizzie Borden-like massacre decades earlier. Okay, maybe I will read a little bit more. Let's see. At 17, Lenora Hope hung her sister with a rope. Now reduced to a schoolyard chant, the Hope family murders shocked the Maine coast one bloody night in 1929. While most people assume 17-year-old Lenora was responsible, the police were never able to prove it. Other than her denial after the killings, she has never spoken publicly about that night, nor has she set foot outside Hope's Inn, the cliffside mansion where the massacre occurred. It's now 1983, and home health aide Kit McDeer arrives at a decaying Hope's Inn to care for Lenora after her previous nurse fled in the middle of the night. In her 70s and confined to a wheelchair, Lenora was rendered mute by a series of strokes and can only communicate with Kit by tapping out sentences on an old typewriter. One night, Lenora uses it to make a tantalizing offer. I want to tell you everything. As Kit helps Lenora write about the events leading to the Hope family massacre, it becomes clear there's more to the tale than people know. But when new details about the predecessor's departure come to light, Kit starts to suspect Lenora might not be telling the complete truth, and that the seemingly harmless woman in her care could be far more dangerous than she first thought. All right. I only read like the top of this, which is right here. So this is my first time actually reading the rest of it, and it sounds really interesting. With the last book that I read by Riley, I think I finished that. So I started it 1 week, I got busy, and then the following week I started again. I was reading it non-stop, like every night. I was opening up the book, and I finished it pretty quickly. So I enjoy the way that Riley writes. That is very important as a writer myself. I'm really big on like how the writing is, like are they descriptive, are they showing and not telling? Am I gonna stay interested in the book? How is the book starting? Like the first 20% of the book, if I'm not really like grasped, I'm probably not gonna finish it, but because I bought a book, I'm going to like force myself to try to finish it. So I think this is gonna be pretty good. I'm excited about that one. This book is also a thriller. I have been reading, I'm actually in chapter 2 in this one. I started it day before yesterday. This one is a new author for me. This is Mary Kabuka. I hope I'm saying the last name right. And it's called Just the Nicest Couple. Here is the book cover. And I think the description's on the inside of this one too. It says, they seem so nice, you'd never imagine what was going on behind closed doors. Jake Hayes is missing. This much is certain. At first, his wife, Nina, thinks he is blowing off steam at a friend's house after their heated fight the night before. But then a day goes by, 2 days, 5, and Jake is still nowhere to be found. Lily Scott, Nina's friend and coworker, thinks she may have been the last to see Jake before he went missing. After Lily confesses everything to her husband, Christian, the two decide that nobody can find out what happened leading up to Jake's disappearance, especially not Nina. But Nina is out there looking for her husband, and she won't stop until the truth is discovered. So this is very interesting, and I feel like it's kind of giving a Freida McFadden kind of vibe where we don't know what happened or who did what, or it could be like, you know, the person you least expect. So that's why I picked this one. I did read the description when I was in Target, and I was like, okay, this is something that might catch my eye. So far so good. It's like in the character building world building stage right now in the first few chapters, so I'm just kind of like peeling through the book, but hopefully it gets better. This is a little bit smaller obviously than the other book, so I think that I'll try to finish it by this weekend. We will see. This one, I definitely was like, okay, I'm getting all these thrillers. Let me try to break out of it a little bit. So I never heard of this author. This is by Ray Frey or Rhea Frey. It's called The Other Year, and this was also 20% off. I'll read the description on this one as well. It says, can the entire course of a life be traced back to a single moment? On a coveted 2-week beach vacation, working mom Kate Baker's 9-year-old daughter Olivia vanishes suddenly among the waves, a heart-dropping incident that threatens to uproot her entire reality. But in the next moment, Olivia resurfaces joyously, splashing. What would I do if she didn't come up? Kate wonders. How would I live without her? In another set of circumstances that hold a different fate, Kate doesn't have to wonder, because in that other world, in the pulse-pounding seconds after Olivia goes under, she doesn't come back up. Told in parallel timelines, Kate begins to live 2 lives, one in which Olivia resurfaces and one in which she doesn't. In the reality that follows her daughter's death, she maneuvers through every mother's worst nightmare, facing grief, rage, and the question of purpose in the aftermath of such profound loss. She endures day by day in a world without her daughter. In her alternate timeline, while she explores a tremulous romance with her best friend, Jason, she finds herself grappling with the ex-husband who abandoned Kate and Olivia years prior. Even as Kate scrambles to hold her daughter close, Olivia pulls further away. The line between joy and loss seems to get thinner with each passing day. Woven into a single story, both Kates discover a breathtaking fragility and resilience in their respective journeys, bringing to light the drastic polarities dire circumstances often create. The Other Year explores truths about love, loss, and the sharp turns any life can take in the blink of an eye. So this was definitely a different type of book for me to pick, and I was like, why not? It seems pretty interesting. And at the top it even says a tearjerker with heart. I've never really gotten too emotional reading a book. I've watched so many book talkers talk about books that kind of like made them emotional, made them cry, boohoo. Not like I want to make myself cry, but I want to read a book that like really gives me the feels. Yeah, so we'll see how this one turns out. So I'm gonna try my best to read all of these this month. We shall see. Let me know what you're reading for the month of November. Let me know what you have read already. If you have read any of these titles, let me know how you like them, what your thoughts are, all without spoiling them, of course. But I'm excited to get these started. I definitely need to lower my screen time and replace some of that scrolling time with reading again. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.